Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. I'm your host, Anish Gupta.
And I'm your host, Srikar.
Shriek, how was your NFL weekend?
Brock Purdy, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance. It does not matter. The Niners are NFC West champs. Kyle Shanahan should be in the Coach of the Year discussion, and no one wants to talk about it. But hey, man, that was a great football weekend for me.
Yeah, my Niners, we took down Seattle on Thursday. Brock Purdy is the truth. Trey Lance is terrible. I was never high on Trey. Sorry. Okay, let me stop being Shrikar for a second there. Trey Lance sucks. Brock Purdy is the truth. And Niners did great. The Browns picked up a quick little dub
Yeah.
on a Saturday night. Probably the most boring primetime game out of any of them, and I'm including the Rams one. But yeah, it's okay. We won. That's what matters. And you know what also matters, Shriek? Making sure that your hair is kind of intact down in the hard to reach areas. And something that can help with that is our sponsor for today's video, like they always are, Manscaped. It features the Lawnmower 4.0, which is the product you would use for such problems. It's got a cutting-edge ceramic blade, a wireless charging system on their brand new 4th generation trimmer. They've got advanced skin-safe technology, so you don't have to worry about nicks and cuts. And again, with the wireless charging, it's got a really long battery life, so it's a really great product. Manscaped also has other things available to you, like the Nose Weird Whacker ear hair trimmer, the Crop Preserver Ball deodorant, some t-shirts, boxers, literally anything you could ask for. We are super excited to bring this to you guys. Join over 2 million men worldwide with Manscaped and get 20% off and free shipping with code CHT20 at manscaped.com. Unlock your tools for the... unlock the right unlock your confidence and use the right tools for the job.
Second week in a row.
Go grab yourself that Lawnmower 4.0. I will get that down. All right, let's move on. Let's first touch on some of the things that happened. Well, I was talking about the Browns. We're finally going to be able to talk about them because this will probably be the last time they are relevant. So I'll get my final Browns segment in there. First, fine. We'll start. The segment is supposed to be the Jags and the Browns keep their hopes alive. So let's just get the Browns done with, so we can really get to the meat of this, because the Jaguars are what I really want to talk about. But yeah, we'll just talk about it. I don't think we've talked about Deshaun's 3 games on the pod, so I'll let you start off, Shriek. Like, how has he looked? And then, are the Browns, do they have promise for next year? Do you think there's any chance they get in? What are your thoughts?
Well, very, very low key, as in like no one's talking about it. The Browns have managed to win 3 of their last 4, and at least stay, on the cusp of the AFC playoff race. And the Browns have given some teams some fits this year as well, and they're 9 points away from a few one-score wins early in the season. So it's kind of like a what-if season in that sense.
Yeah.
And since the Browns got Deshaun Watson back into the lineup, they're 2-1, right? How much Watson has to do with that is up for debate. In my opinion, I think it's just rust. I think he'll get better with time. And I think that should be pretty promising for Browns fans. I wasn't the highest on the Watson trade. I kind of felt like it wouldn't move the needle like too much for the Browns. Obviously it would, but from what I've seen so far, it looks like it's just rust. So I think if I'm a Browns fan, I'm not panicking or anything like that. The Browns have scored a combined 23 points in their last 2 games, loss to the Bengals and a win against the Ravens, who were led by Snoop Huntley, a win which helped the Bengals a lot in their pursuit of the AFC North crown. So in terms of this past weekend, it was a nice win for the Browns. Deal the Ravens a tough loss. You drop them out of first place in the AFC North, played spoiler. And at this point in the season, I guess that's all you can really ask for within your division, to just, go out and be playing spoiler. So
yeah, low key, I think we're probably the MVP of the Bengals right now for the last 2 weeks. Gave them a win and then helped them not clinch it, but get the division lead. So it's obviously, I watch every game, I watch every snap. As painful as it is, I watch every snap. And yeah, Shrikar is right. This is kind of a what if season, right? So I think we had like 4 1-possession losses and like literally in a row, and those tore my heart, man. Like, I mean, because thing and all of them were against wild card teams that we're fighting with right now, and we don't have a tiebreaker with any of them. Patriots don't have the tiebreaker with because we didn't get that onside against them. The Chargers, Cade York, garbage. By the worst player in football. Whoever watched that Saturday night game and saw the misses he had, now picture that every game. He has a bad miss every single game. So like,
Okay, but that game was
his-
wind. That game was
people-
wind. Even Tucker was missing in that game.
People don't watch the Browns enough, dude. This guy's been doing this wind, shine. It could be 70 degrees, perfectly sunny out, and he will still shank it all the way to the stands. So yeah, Chargers one he missed, right? The Atlanta game we choked the lead. The Jets, oh my god, the Jets game was just a total disaster. So all these wins are just racking up, right? Like you just don't have all the wins that you should have racked up turned into losses, right? And now you're okay. Yes, they're looking good now, right? Like at least on defense, they're finally kind of showing some signs of life. And this is with injuries, by the way. But like, where was this, right? So it's kind of a too little, too late situation. I'll touch on Watson a little bit. I'm pretty objective with this. Obviously, he hasn't looked the best, but I think he's improved each week. Like, I think the Ravens game, he was good. He was like, because think about it, we lost 9 points on field goals that should have happened. So, like, it's not like he just scored 13 points. And I think what happens with mobile quarterbacks is that you're going to take a lot of stupid sacks. Like, Chiefs fans can probably relate with me on this one too. Like, that's one thing I've noticed a lot of coverage sacks that have happened because Watson will probably try and escape into the out of the pocket, versus like hitting his read that's open. He's missed a lot of open reads like that. I think he just needs to find more confidence in his throws. And I think, as Srikar said, that would develop with time. So for those who are kind of wondering why is it not coming together, at least he finally, he had a turnover in each game. He kept no turnovers this week, so that's kind of a good sign. And yeah, the Browns would need a lot for them to go their way with the playoffs. I think one of them is like the Ravens losing out. I don't think that's going to happen like last year. If that does, all bets are off. I'm not going to bet on it, but yeah, so obviously their hopes are alive. They're probably not going to happen. But I think this is good signs for next year. I think Joe Woods has to be let go. Like, I know this is exactly what's happened last year. He's having this late surge, and I swear to God, if he keeps his job for it, I'm going to be really, really pissed off. I don't think it's going to be enough to keep his job, but we'll see. And then Myles Garrett, I know it shows that he has 13 and a half sacks, but they're just like, it just feels like he's not breaking open the game the same way he did in the last couple years. Browns fans can probably relate to me on that one. Yeah, I'm kind of rambling about the Browns because this will be my only chance to do it. But maybe I'll ask you this: Do you think this will be a playoff team next year? Like, do you think this is a core that can get there with Stefanski? Because people have been calling for Stefanski's job as well.
Very early to tell, but I think my gut says no. Just because the Ravens and the Bengals, I think, are still going to be very competitive next year. I think the Ravens are going to bring Lamar back, and with Lamar, obviously, you're going to be competitive. The Bengals are the Bengals. I feel about them. The Steelers still have Mike Tomlin at the helm. Who knows how Pickett will do in year 2? It's like it's tough. It's tough to say they're
That's fair.
They're going to make it, but I think Watson will be better. If that's anything.
I mean, yeah. So I think what are they 3-2 in the division? Yeah. So they beat all 3 divisional rivals this year. So that's something to hang your hat on, right? Like, at least you've beaten all 3. So it's not like this team is like the bottom barrel of the division and like the beating, the laughing stock right now. So at least that's a step up. But you're right. I'm 50-50 with it. I think I still need to see how Watson does these next 3 games or 4 games or 3 games, I think. But time will tell. And I think for the Browns, just kind of keep at it.
If you have another
games and pray,
if you have another great draft, then I mean, that can help.
You're right, yeah, because I think this draft class did okay, or at least Martin Emerson looks really good.
Yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell. Most of the guys are under contract next year anyway, so kind of good to go. All right, now we can get to the meat of what I wanted to talk about. So the Jacksonville Jaguars have won 4 of their last 6. They are, how else do I describe this? They are a really fun team to watch. Dougie P and Trevor Lawrence are coming into their own, as I kind of called earlier with the RPO scheme, and these guys are, whew, like they've got some really impressive wins these last couple of weeks against Baltimore and Dallas. And now with Tannehill's injury, they control their own destiny for the playoffs for a divisional crown. No one in their right mind would have thought that when the Titans were 7-3, and I think the Jags were like 3-7. Shriek, I'll toss it over to you. Where
First
do we
thing,
go from here?
first thing I'll say is when me and Anish picked the Jaguars to win the AFC South back in like what, week 2, week 3, like we picked them very early. It's finally culminating. This is kind of what we wanted to see. Like they're playing complementary football. I think the Jaguars are quickly becoming like the AFC counterpart of the Lions. Like early on in the season, a lot of people jumped on the Jags bandwagon. It felt like the team was kind of reverting back to their old ways, despite showing some promise with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence. So they go to 4-8 against the Lions just a couple of weeks ago, team I mentioned before. Hope pretty much seemed lost for this Jaguars team, but Trevor Lawrence has really turned things around in the past couple of months. Pretty much since that London game against the Broncos where he threw that game-ending interception, he has been among the best of the best in the NFL. And if we talk about Sunday, brilliant comeback against the Cowboys. I got to shout out Rayshon Jenkins. That was a historic performance. First player in the NFL to record 18 tackles and 2 picks in the same game. And obviously that second pick was the game winner, pick 6 off Dak Prescott in overtime. I wouldn't even say the Jags are an interesting 6-8 team. I mean, they are like a playoff contender. Like if they make the playoffs, I think there's scenarios
I told you this last week. I would consider picking them in their wild card game.
They could win a game.
Yeah.
But as you said, yeah, they control their own fate. You got to win out against the Jets, Texans, and Titans, and you're going to host a playoff game, which I think is very, very much possible. And with Tannehill going down for the season, it means Willis is in charge. Hey, I think the Jags got it.
Oh, that's so funny.
I think the Jags got it. But again, in terms of Lawrence, I think we discussed it with Jack a little bit earlier. Is he elite or not? I think he's already elite. I think he's in that tier now after this stretch. Torching a top.
Have my moment. Can I let me have my okay? Go ahead.
Torching a terrific Dallas defense, coming back down 27-10. It's just 4 touchdown passes. Like he's there. He's there. I mean, I think he's starting to really put everything together. I know some people would like to argue, hey, he's just getting there, and it's a fair argument, but I think for me, being the prospect that he was, knowing what he brings to the table, I think he's already an elite quarterback.
Okay. Let me kind of add on to that. So I hated Trevor Lawrence in college because obviously he torched Ohio State that one year. But let's break it down, right? He has been the consensus number 1 player for literally 4 years in a row, right? He didn't lose in high school. He didn't lose in college. And he has one bad year and everyone wants to write him off. So 2020, so you can just go through it, right? He was the number 1 player in his class. He was the number 1 player in his state. He was the number 1 quarterback, this and that, and didn't lose. He's a proven commodity, right? And I get it. It's the high school and the college level, but he knows what it takes and he's got all the tools. This was the thing. You could not pass up on this dude. He was a good prospect for a reason, right? These can't miss absolute prospects we've seen do not fail in the NFL. And there's only been a handful, a very small handful. John Elway, Peyton Manning, and Andrew Luck. Those are my 3 out of college, and all 3 have at least succeeded. So it doesn't matter about the hype and stuff. They were all at least successful in the NFL. I think Trevor Lawrence has already gotten there. You're right. I do agree with Jack, who said this off the pod. I think if you are considering the elite of elite to be top 3, then I'm with you. I think Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow have separated themselves. And I'm really hoping all those Herbert Burrow guys who said Herbert's greater than Burrow are stopping now. And I think, guys like Jalen Hurts and Justin Herbert, and I think Trevor Lawrence is that last one that you're going to put in this, tier 2 approaching elite status, because I'm also going to throw this out there. I think these last 6 games have been the best 6-game stretch of any quarterback this year. I'm pretty confident in saying that. Some of the games he has had to uplift this team have been really astronomically great. And some of them were without a run game. Travis Etienne constantly, for how good he is and how good I like him, he cannot stop fumbling to save his life. I mean, he's got to have the worst ball carrying ability out of any running back I've ever seen. Some of the fumbles he has are just so pathetic, and T-Law always kind of makes it work. Some of the throws he made, the one to set him up into field goal range to tie it, that's just only a handful of guys can make that. So, I think Trevor Lawrence is really great. For those who are on the pod and really OG members of the pod, I think I found my new Carson Wentz. I'm still working on the nickname. What was the one I threw at you? What did I say?
Leave it to him, Lawrence.
Yeah, something like that. Leave it to him, Lawrence. I got to find a better one, but I'll work on that. I think I also had throw it to him T-Law, but that's just not as good as walk it to him. So I gotta find a good one. I'll work on it. But yeah, so you think you're with me? I think Jags kind of are on pace. They control their own destiny. They'll probably take it.
Yeah.
I think momentum's a big thing in the NFL. And I think the Jags in the locker room really believe that they are going to host a playoff game in January.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that sucks for the Titans because I think they're for how well coached they were throughout the season. I think the Tannehill injury versus the Chiefs was very costly, and I think now obviously it's going to cost them. So sucks for them, but I think they've still got a great core intact moving on with Mike Vrabel. All right,
we'll see what the firing of John Robinson though.
That could actually come back to bite them. I mean, I feel like they were just stuck in mediocrity, right? Constant 9-7s.
But why not just wait for the end of the season? That could have thrown things off, to be honest, because as soon as they fire him, they start reeling. So,
I don't know. I still believe though for the now knowing the GM cycle, it actually is a little bit timeline wise. I think it is better, but I don't know. Let's kind of move on. The Vikings had a 33-point comeback on Saturday, and I was talking a lot of smack. My Kevin O'Connell agenda, so I was loving it. I wish I had the screenshots to pull it up, but so I wake up and I was watching the third place match, the World Cup, and then I think after it ended, I got a text from Srikar because I took a nap after it, and then Srikar was like mini laughing emojis, and I'm like, what's going on? And I look at the score, and it's like 30-0. I'm like, dude, what? I was like, no way. Colts were off a bye, but I didn't expect that. And then I start watching the game, and I slowly see drive after drive coming back, I think Srikar said, I will take back everything I said about Mini if they complete this comeback. And they did. So the floor is yours, buddy. I know we've been waiting for you to talk about this. Have at it.
Well, partially a man of my word. I will take back everything I said about Mini. Not all time, right? But recently, yes, I will. I still stand by the take that the Niners are better, obviously. I mean, but I'll put respect on KOC and this Vikings crew. I mean, come on, it's the biggest comeback in NFL history. I can't not do it. So for Minnesota, it's win number 11, 7th victory in which the Vikings needed a fourth quarter score to either tie or take the lead. And overall, Minnesota's outscored their opponents 119-50 in the final quarter of their one-score wins this year, despite having an overall point differential of +2, right? So
let's unpack that though. That's on coaching. Fourth quarter differential of 119-50. Whew. As a rookie head coach.
Yep, that's pretty good. And also, quick little fact: before Saturday's comeback, largest comeback in regular season history was 1989ers when they rallied from 34 to 7 down against the winless Saints. And the quarterback.
Wait, who?
The winless Saints.
Cares? I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Okay.
No, I don't know. I saw it. I saw the.
And the quarterback for the Niners, obviously, was obviously some second year guy named Joe Montana. So Kirk Cousins is in some great company there, right? So, and again, Cousins had a great
Whew,
performance,
big time.
460 yards. So overall, nothing really bad to say. I know some people like to take that angle where it's like, oh, they had to make this comeback to win. But I mean, how is that not impressive? Like, how is that? I don't. It's the
To
biggest comeback in
like a
NFL history.
turnaround of that magnitude,
Like, yeah,
like that's
come on.
insane. That's insane.
There's
That
no
a
way to
turnaround
just
of
take
that
that back.
magnitude in a game is just crazy. I've never seen that before. Um, yeah, like I don't know how you blow a 33 point. Like what? I mean, just start running the. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think so. Look, I think the Vikings. You're right. I think over the last few weeks, I think the Niners have surpassed them. I've been with you on that. But this just goes to show that they are a team that does not give up till the very end, in the sense that like when the fourth quarter comes on, the Vikings know what needs to be done to win games. I think that's a big thing, especially for a young head coach to really have some confidence with. Um, I don't know if they'll keep the 2 seed or not. I hope they do, for their sakes, because they do not want to play SF over there. They don't. They have no chance. The only way they would even have a sliver of an opportunity to beat SF is if they play them at home. Still don't think they'll win, but you want to you want to have as much control over the game as possible. Um, Again, this was to clinch the division. They got their job done. I still think player for player, they've got top 2 offense in the league. The defense again still is a little shaky on a secondary wise, but they stepped up in the second half. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say. I think the Vikings just did what they, or at least in that second half, they, did what they usually do. And they are, true and behold, one of the top maybe 5 to 7 teams in the league.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, moving on to another team on the NFC side, as Srikar mentioned, maybe the Jaguars counterpart in the NFC. The Lions are just scorching. They were what, 1-6? Now they're 7-7, I want to say. And they're not going to Vikings clinch the div, but they are now, I believe, like a half game back of Washington
Commanders.
for the
Yep.
7th spot.
Mm-hmm.
So, Lions fans, you're going to need a little help from us because we play the Commanders next week. So, yeah, you want to throw up the schedules, actually?
Yeah, so
we can maybe discuss it.
Detroit has 3 favorable matchups to end the season. You got the Panthers, the Bears, and the Packers. You can pretty much win all of those. All of those teams are below 500. Only Carolina has a real shot at the playoffs, despite being 5-9. But that's besides the point.
That's a different thing. Yeah.
But I wanted to highlight, it's just this defense is finally just picking things up. They were the worst in the league in a lot of categories over their first 9 games.
Really bad.
They've roared back. Detroit is only the Bills have scored at least 24 points on Detroit in the Lions' past 5 games. In that span, the Lions held Minnesota to 23, Giants to 19, Jaguars to 14, the Jets to 17. All of those teams are either going to the playoffs or have aspirations for the playoffs. So that's pretty impressive. If Detroit gets into the playoffs, again, it's complementary football. They're not going to be completely reliant on their offense to win, which is really, really good. Because that was kind of my one fear for them if they were going to be in the dance in January. I think they'll be a threat in the wild card round. If I was a 2 seed, I would be pretty scared of the Lions.
If it's Minnesota,
I would be very scared.
Yes,
There's
because the
big
Lions
upside
have
potential.
they've always played Minnesota tough. They know what it takes to beat them. They've done it twice in the last 2 years.
Mhm.
So you're right. If you don't mind, I'll take it over a little bit.
Yeah.
Big shout out to offensive coordinator Ben Johnson. That's a guy that I didn't really know much about coming into the year, but he's really impressed me and come up on my radar recently. Lions offense is great, and I also want to say this, player for player, they've probably got a top 5 offense in football. I mean, okay, first of all, Cal alum, it's signing day today, so we're gonna shout him out. Jared Goff has looked so good this year. Really coming into his own, and he could have easily just given up. He had his money already. He has a $40 million contract. He's living in Detroit after being in California all his life. Like, he got literally thrown out as scraps so that the Rams could win a Super Bowl the first year without him. Right? Like a lot of things were going against him. He's come back and really come into his own. Kudos to that offensive line by the Lions. I think it's one of the 5 best units in football. DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams are a great 1-2 punch. And that defense, as you mentioned, yeah, I think on all 3 levels they played better, especially the secondary. And yeah, actually, do you want to, I think, throw up the Commanders schedule? Because I think, yeah, so the Commanders, luckily have that half game tie that's going to really keep them afloat with these tiebreakers a lot, because they don't have to deal with any of the conference game stuff, which the Lions will definitely have. But yeah, so I think the Lions will control their own destiny, because if Washington loses one, right, the Lions are good.
Guess who the Commanders play this week?
The Niners, and then they play the Browns.
And then the Cowboys.
I think it's at Cleveland too.
No, I think at home. It's at home.
No, it's at home. Yeah, sorry. And then they play
Dallas at home. That's pretty tough.
That's not easy. Yeah. That's not easy, especially now because the Giants could actually pass up Dallas. I think they're still not out of it because they're 8-5-1 and Dallas is 10-4. So they're not totally out of it. Yeah. So, I think the Lions have got a good shot here. I think Seattle is kind of on the fence now. Even though I think they do have the tiebreaker over Detroit, which is funny, but yeah. I think Seattle's kind of cooked. I think the Lions have a little bit more to play for, and honestly, they are a better team right now. So yeah, this is something to behold. I think we're going to see a lot of shakeup from what we were expecting. Not even just before the year, but during the year. I think there's going to be some shakeup. So yeah, if you want to say it, I think you've got Dallas, New York, and I think do you think Detroit passes up Washington and gets in?
I'm taking Detroit, yeah.
I think it comes down to that Browns game. I think if the Browns beat the Commanders, then they will. If they don't, then I think the Commanders have it because of the tie. But yeah, this would be. I'm excited to see this. Really, because look, I think they've won like 6 straight or something, or like 6 of their last 7. Like that's gonna be really hard to keep up, no matter who you're playing. But if they do, hell of a job, man. Hell of a job. Yeah. And I think Dan Campbell, because, a lot of people were kind of questioning his, you're saying all these things, great. Where is the output? The output is finally coming in. Just took a little bit longer run time for all my CS majors out there. Okay. We'll move on. Quite short recap. We'll move on to weekly picks. There's a little bit of change up. We both looked at it. So should we give us the rundown and let's get into it?
All right, so we got fans in first. Big shake up there. Fans are in first now with 143 wins. Anish is in second with 142, and me and Jack are tied at third at 141. Everything is still within reach.
Let me just address the fans real quick. I let you guys down. I was watching the World Cup final. One of the greatest matches ever, and I forgot to pick out of Atlanta versus the Saints. Desmond Ridder, you suck. Why'd you run out of bounds? Why are you so dumb? I choked it. I'm sorry, guys. We'll get back. We'll get back this week. Let's lock in.
All right, Thursday Night Football. Let's get it rolling. Jaguars at Jets. I'll start here. The Jaguars are rolling. Trevor Lawrence facing Zach Wilson. I think that's all you need to know where I'm going with this pick. I'm going with Jacksonville.
All right, I'm going to throw this out. If the Jags beat the Jets, Cincinnati, you are in the playoffs. So Cincinnati's going to be hard rooting for Jacksonville. And I am too, because Trevor Lawrence is that guy and I like him. So yeah, let's go with the Jags here.
All right, the Bills at the Bears. Could be a fight. Who do you got?
Okay. Could be. Yeah, so Chicago put up a little bit of a fight for like 2 quarters versus Philly, and then Jalen Hurts decided, hey, I can run the ball and pass, and he ended up having like 380 yards on the day despite having those 2 interceptions. I'm gonna go with Buffalo because I think they've clinched the playoffs, but I think they're still trying to clinch that first round bye, which, trust me, they're going to need. So Buffalo.
The Bears continue to play everyone close. I will say that. However, the Bills haven't lost in over a month, and I think they just have too much firepower. I think they'll pull away here.
Wait, quick thing. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a lot about Detroit kind of last year. Played everyone close, right? Chicago's doing this too. I think next year, watch out because they've got a ton of cap space. They've got good draft capital. Hoping they get Will Anderson, and I think they'll be a good team next year.
Definitely. Okay. Saints, Browns.
I think it's me, right? Yeah. Oh no.
It's technically me. Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Browns are a much more dangerous team with Deshaun Watson under center. The Saints have underachieved all year. Give me the Browns at home.
Darn it. Okay, I'm hoping Jack goes Saints. I'm gonna go with us too. I think the Browns win it. Yeah, there's just this little spark, and they've played a lot better. So I think we can contain them. Yeah, give me the Browns.
All right, here's where you're starting. Texans at Titans. This is pretty much it for the Titans. I mean, who knows? Who do you got?
I really don't like Malik Willis, my fellow watchers. I really don't. I think whoever they have at quarterback is honestly better. Okay, I'll go with Tennessee just because Derrick Henry is like nuclear versus AFC South opponents. So I'll go Tennessee.
Titans have lost 4 straight.
Houston's lost 8 straight.
Only a 1-game lead over the Jags in the division. I want to pick Houston, but I'll go with Tennessee. It's
if they drop this,
it's such a weird game because
Houston has lost to 2 10-plus win teams by a combined total of 4 points. Or sorry, 7 points because of the overtime touchdown.
Play the Titans close, like it's.
And they honestly outplayed Kansas City for a half, and they outplayed Dallas for 3.5 quarters. That's why I'm torn. Like, I think this is a really tough game.
I'll stick with Tennessee for now.
Okay.
But moving on here, the Seahawks and the Chiefs. It is going to be really, really cold in Kansas City, and the Chiefs, after terrible showings against the Broncos and Texans, I think they're going to be motivated to have a get-right game, and I think this is exactly the spot where they're going to get it. I got to go with KC here.
I think KC in their right minds know that they are not going to beat Cincinnati at Cincy, and they are not going to beat Buffalo at Buffalo. They need that bye. They need the home field. So I think KC's still chasing it. So give me KC.
All right. Giants, Vikings in Minnesota.
Ooh, that's an interesting one. I think it's me, yeah. So the Giants kind of escaped. Daniel Jones owns Washington, and I should have gone with my conviction and picked him. This one's really hard. I don't really know because, like, are you going to what Giants team are we getting? They're just still so injured, and I don't think the pass rush is necessarily going to get home. Okay, I will say this: if Darisaw is out, I'm going to switch this pick to the Giants, but I'm going to keep it at Minnesota right now.
The Vikings are riding an incredible high after that comeback. Who knows if that's going to be actually bad for them this week? I don't think it will. I'll say they keep that momentum going from that second half, and they get a W here. All right, Bengals at Patriots. Cincinnati might be playing the best ball of any team in the AFC. The Patriots have to be emotionally.
I'm so mad. What the hell was that? What was that? Like, really?
If there's any play that just that just kills a season, it's that one. So I gotta go with the Bengals. I think New England is cooked at this point.
All right, if we're being honest, I don't think that play was talked about enough. Like,
it wasn't.
Right?
We didn't talk about it at all.
That was insane. That was literally insane. They've had two plays that I can remember two plays that I can remember that have happened in this fashion are this one and the Miami Miracle, and they've both happened on this team. That's so wild to me. This should have been talked about more. Cincinnati is going to go into this 6-game insane stretch that I was hyping up, and they said, you know what, Anish, we don't care. We're going to go undefeated in this, which is wild to me.
They're good, man.
Man, yeah, Cincinnati's playing some great ball. Give me Cincy.
Okay, so our next game, the Lions and the Panthers. I think you're starting this time. What you got?
Um, no, wait. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
You
okay,
are
I am.
starting.
Lions, Panthers. Yeah, we kind of just talked about the Lions. Oddly enough, the Panthers are still in it, and they actually have the best chance out of the other three. But how do you not beat Pittsburgh at home, right? That's just a game you got to win. If Detroit's defense comes out to play like they did, I think they've got this one, and I'm expecting them to. So just get home with pressure, and you'll be fine. So go in Detroit.
The Lions are just a much better team than the Panthers. They're playing their best football right now. I just don't feel like I can bet against them. So, gonna go with Detroit here. Falcons, Ravens is the next game, and I think I am starting here. It's
Yep.
interesting because it's gonna be Huntley. So,
Oh, Lamar's not playing?
well, I don't think so. It
No,
kind
no,
of
he's no.
is Lamar
Lamar. They
playing?
were eyeing a Falcons return. Yeah, they were eyeing a
Okay.
Falcons return.
I mean,
Yeah,
either
yeah,
way,
yeah. Oh, I shouldn't
either
have said that.
either.
I
Well, no,
shouldn't
no,
have
no,
said
no, no,
that.
no, no, because either way, I was gonna go with the Ravens. I
Oh,
Desmond Ritter
damn.
might develop into a great quarterback. He's far from a great quarterback right now. So yeah, give me Baltimore.
Yeah, so Lamar did miss practice today, but I think he will play. Hey, I'm gonna be hard rooting for the Falcons. But I'm not gonna be an idiot like I was last week and forget to move out of them. So let's go with the Ravens.
Okay, Commanders, Niners. You get to start here.
Okay.
NSF.
This one's a tough one. So yeah, I'm actually gonna be on vacay, but Shriek and I were gonna watch this game if a certain quarterback was gonna be playing in it. And he's not because he's not good. And yes, I will eat it for the rest of my life. Carson Wentz is not good anymore. He was good when I pushed the agenda, but he's not good now. I'm going SF.
Nobody is playing better defense than the Niners right now. I mean, it'll be tough for Washington to score more than 14 in this game. Like, I'm being serious. So I'm also going SF here. I wasn't really ever a question. But next up is the big one, Philly, Dallas. We've been looking out, for this game for a while now. Jalen Hurts, obviously doubtful, which would mean Gardner Minshew would step in. So the Eagles have less to play for than Dallas at this point. And if Gardner
Not
Minshew is playing,
necessarily. They're still playing for that bye.
I think it matters a lot more to Dallas though right now. So off that, being at home, gonna go with the Cowboys.
All right. Yeah, this is going to be a lot less anticipatory than, previous. I'm just going to go out and say it again. Dak Prescott is not good. Okay?
He is
Srikar,
good. He is
he's
good.
not good. Um
He's good.
Trevor Lawrence is better than him. A lot of quarterbacks are better than him, and he constantly puts his team in bad positions. And that being said, I'm still gonna have to sadly go Dallas. I like Gardner Minshew, I really do. Can I trust you to go and beat Dallas in a game that they're going to have that they've been having marked since week 6? Which, first of all, I can't even believe we're here already.
Yeah.
But yeah, so stupid. Give me Dallas. Dak Prescott does not deserve this game. Dak Prescott does not deserve his contract. No hate. I'm just saying. But yeah, whatever.
All right. Saturday night football. Raiders, Steelers. Steelers will be at home in prime time. We got.
First of all, rest in peace to Franco Harris. I cannot
Right.
believe that happened. Oh my god, they just did like a commercial with him for it. I cannot believe they literally did a football life documentary on him for this game, and he passed away. I cannot believe this. So that really sucks. Um, the Raiders are coming off a game that they should not have won. Keelan Cole was out 100%. And Pittsburgh is so scrappy. Like they just, if whoever loses here is out of the playoffs. This one's really tough. I'm gonna say Pittsburgh for now. Um, if Pickett plays, or yeah,
If it's not Pickett, it'll be Trubisky.
yeah. If it's okay, if Pickett plays, give me Pittsburgh. If not, give me LV. I don't like either of these teams. Give me Pittsburgh though.
The Raiders are the better team, despite both teams sitting at 6-8. Better offense, more stars. You know what I mean. Las Vegas should keep this very close, at the very least, right? Pittsburgh's favored in this game. I'll go with the Raiders. I'll go with the Raiders for right now.
Raiders.
Again, it's
All
one
right.
that I mean, even if Pickett was playing, I think I'd roll with LV. But it's tough to bet against Mike Tomlin when both teams are kind of fighting for the playoffs. It's like, what coach do you trust more? So it's tough, but I'll stick with LV for now. All right, into the Christmas Day slate, which is absolutely horrible. Packers at Dolphins to start things off. Aaron Rodgers knows Packers pretty much have to run the table to have a chance. And meanwhile, the Dolphins are reeling 3 straight losses. And I'm still going with Miami. Still going Miami, so.
I think I was supposed to start here. Oh wait, no,
No, you
you
started
were.
last
Sorry.
one.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Um, they look good against Buffalo, despite it being that cold, right? For a team that's not used to it, they look pretty good, and they were a stupid non-PI call away from tying the game, right? So, give me Miami. They should win this game. And yeah, it really sucks that they got kind of robbed on that. I was actually at this dude's house while the game was going on, but I rewatched. Stupid call, no call. Yeah, give me Miami.
Broncos Rams in LA. Who do you got?
Okay, so I came off my high horse and I actually picked Green Bay on Monday like a smart dude. uh, Baker Mayfield versus that Broncos defense is actually kind of a tough matchup. And Marlon Mack's been a bright spot for Denver recently, and they've looked kind of okay. I don't think the Rams have anything, at this point. I'm actually gonna go Denver.
Yeah,
Shockingly, I'm gonna go Denver.
I'm also going Denver, and I'm not even gonna give a reason at this point. I just don't even want to touch this game. It's
Yeah. So again, Denver is keeping Srikar out of first place.
You know what's crazy? If Colt McCoy plays that entire game, I genuinely think Arizona wins.
That was so funny,
As
man.
soon as
I
Colt
can't.
McCoy gets hurt, they come back, and it's like it's
Srikar is so funny.
This team is
Srikar
cursed.
and his Denver picks. I might just have to get out of Denver right now because he picked him, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, Bucks Cardinals to finish off Christmas Day. I'll put it this way: no team is begging for the offseason more than the Cardinals right now. As bad as Tampa is, even the Bucks should win by a touchdown here. So give me Tampa.
All right. What was that second half? That was probably the worst second half a team is. Sorry,
Trace McSorley sucks. He sucks.
Let me just save myself. That was the worst second half played on Sunday. Colts, you definitely take worst second half of the week. Tampa, you are second. What was that second half? Gotta bounce back here. I cannot believe they are going to make it with this record into the playoffs. They beat Dallas.
Just so stupid.
If they beat Dallas, I'm going to laugh so hard. Give me Tampa in the playoffs if they beat Dallas, obviously. But yeah, give me Tampa.
Yeah, just a quick side note. I'll just say this. I hate the fact that Tampa's going to be in the playoffs.
I do too.
It should not be based on geography, but that's a whole nother topic. All right, Monday Night Football, Chargers and Colts. I believe you're starting here. Who you got?
All right, here we go. Yeah, so Colts are starting Nick Foles, a late season heroic that has worked for teams prior. Obviously, you guys, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of him considering he's the whole reason Carson Wentz slander even started. But yeah, I think the Chargers have more to play for here. But I like I said last week with the Vikings, I think Indy keeps this one close. I don't think they're going to blow another 33-point lead now that they've got a guy who actually completes games, not a guy that blows games. So let's go with the Chargers here, though, which sucks because I think that's going to eliminate like 90% of Browns playoff scenarios. So the Colts, if you want to do me a solid real quick, win this game, that'd be great. But I'm hoping more than predicting it.
The Chargers are charging, and the Colts the Colts are pretty much toast. They're definitely cooked. So give me the Chargers here. Not much difference at all. We only differed on one game, and that
Hey,
was Pittsburgh
the
LV.
bold Super Bowl pick, if the Chargers win this game, still somehow stands. I had Vikings Chargers to begin the year. I don't know how, but it's actually still possible. I know everybody and their mom had Green Bay or LA or Tampa out of the NFC.
I
So
had Green Bay Buffalo.
yeah, so I think so. We'll see if that actually stands, and if it does, I'm going to be flaunting that pick for the rest of the
Yeah.
season. It probably won't happen though, but you never know. But yeah, all right, yeah, one game difference, and it's on the Immaculate Reception game. I have to rely
Hmm.
on my division rival to win me the week.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Another great episode. Always have fun doing this. You can vote on the stories coming out the day of this episode. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching Being the Cold Hard Truth NFL podcast. We will see you guys next time.